She is like one of us.
A typical day for her, I'd say while we're getting all organized and figuring out our patients, she really doesn't do too much except, she comes in and she says hello to everybody.
We are kind of almost certifiable about her because the whole business office is crazy about her, and she doesn't even work with us.
There are definitely things that we can do with Riza that a human healthcare worker can't necessarily get done with patients, because people react a little bit different to her than they do to a physical therapist or an occupational therapist or a human resource.
I was walking around the hospital early in my tenure here, and I saw Corey walking with his dog, and I thought, there's a dog here in the hospital.
Riza and I have actually been together about 3 years. She came to Hook Rehabilitation Center when she was 2 years old, and she just celebrated her 3rd anniversary with us. She was bred into the Canine Companions for Independence program, which is in Santa Rosa, California. She then went to their North Central area, which is in Delaware, Ohio, where she was trained for approximately 2 years, and then her and I met in team training, and she was placed with Hook Rehab Center.
In about 7 weeks, she was flown to Ohio, where she began training at an all-male prison in Ohio. And she worked one-on-one with one of the prisoners there, and he taught her all her basic obedience, worked on all of those skills.
Riza was trained in a program to be a skilled companion dog, so she could have been placed in a variety of different settings. She is considered a facility dog, but she is trained just like any other dog would be placed one-on-one with an individual with a disability. So she knows how to open and close doors, turn lights on and off, pull socks off, pull gloves off, pull blankets off the bed, retrieve just about anything anybody would want her to retrieve, pull wheelchairs, in addition to just her basic obedience, the shape, and some fun tricks and things like that the patients really enjoy.
Only employees and volunteers and physicians have name tags. Why do we have a dog walking through the hospital with a name tag?
Riza is an employee here. She has her own name badge. She doesn't clock in or out, but that's okay. She's here Monday through Friday.
Some of the things that we do with Riza, we use her in a lot of our patient treatment modalities, working to help patients with their standing tolerance, working on their balance.
She spends most of her time working in patient care, directly in therapy services, working with patients one-on-one in treatment, or doing patient visitations.
You can't just bring animals into the hospital. They have to meet certain criteria and certain certifications.
She likes to be helpful. She likes to help.
Instances where we were able to elicit responses from our patients that we weren't able to get in other ways.
There are times if we don't have her working too much, she kind of gets into a boredom and kind of mopes a little bit.
Riza's been a really great addition to our team here in therapy services.
She wants to, work, and she wants to do things with the patient.
Riza really relates well with the patients. The patients absolutely adore her. She comes up the hallway and makes everybody smile, makes everybody laugh.
Patients will work harder, stand longer, do things that, I just can't do that. I'm exhausted. Well, what if we take Riza with us? Oh, okay, that's a good idea.
She enjoys working. She enjoys the volunteers. She enjoys the visitations with the patients. She likes helping them, working with them.
She also playing tug. It's really neat to watch her. She can gauge a person's strength. The harder the person tugs, the harder she'll tug. When the person lets up, then she'll let up. So that's really neat for our patients, especially if they're older. She really seems to gauge them well.
So she just really adds a different dimension than I think a person can. People can get down and love on her and hug on her a little bit different than you would any of your other care providers here.
As a dog that is of interest to a patient, I sometimes think that they don't think it's as much work as it is an enjoyment to them.
Maybe some of their other treatment sessions had only been able to tolerate standing for 3 or 4 minutes. We'll put a dog in front of them, and she's just kind of entertaining. I can get them to stand, maybe double, 8, 9 minutes, and look at the watch and go, oh my gosh, you realize you just stood 9 minutes? Oh, I didn't, because they're playing with the dog, they're enjoying themselves. I think it just makes their therapy better.
I think with any person, who's a dog lover, it kind of just brings something different out of you. A dog is non-judgmental.
She goes everywhere. If we have special requests, we try to let the patients know, or the family members know, that we'll have volunteers here on Tuesdays and Thursdays, and those are the days that she'll probably be up for those special visits.
We have been here for 3 years.
We volunteer every Thursday, unless he's sick or it's a holiday. We start out doing different things on the subacute and acute floors, and she goes around with us and visits with patients in the halls as well as in their therapy units or in their rooms.
I tell everyone they may not remember us, but they do her.
She has to meet the patients, which is a real good medicine for the patients. She's just a real smart, intelligent dog.
My sister was a patient here in Hook's Rehab. She had a double hip replacement, and she was a patient here, and she loved it. She loved having Riza come because she loved dogs.
I happened to walk in, his call light was on, and I had noticed that, but didn't really, realize what he had needed. And as soon as he saw Riza, he just lit up, and he was so excited, and he was somebody who was very, very critically ill. And she's in there, and he's talking to her real calmly, and I just kind of let them have some time. And the nurse walked in and said, "Your light's on, do you need something?" He said, "I don't need it now." She's like, "Well, what did you need?" "Well, I needed pain medicine, but I don't need it now."
I had a stroke patient who had speech problems, was unable to pronunciate, had some word finding problems, had started verbalizing, talking with the dog. It was pretty amazing to see, that interaction with the dog, her verbalizing.
We actually had a little boy one day in our lobby, and his grandmother had had a stroke and was in the clinics and had been working with Riza and really enjoyed her. And he would not go in to see her. He was kind of scared in a hospital setting and that type of thing, which is fairly new for a child his age. And he saw Riza and was of interest. Knowing that his grandmother had worked with Riza in therapy and seeing that it sparked his interest, we actually got the little boy in the lobby with Riza, and we told him, "Why don't you get Riza and the ball and go in and play some ball with your grandmother?" And that's actually how we got the child to come in and see his grandmother here who had had a stroke. All right, Riza, you ready to go? Press the switch. Good girl. Let's go.